It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day. The heart of Massachusetts should be freedom, justice, and liberty. Freedom-led pilgrims from Plymouth Bay. Salem trials had justice too late. The sons of liberty spilled the tea, and then the redcoats spilled their blood. The shot heard around the world rang out from the Bay State. Boston's strong and ready to defend. It's where revolution started and ends. It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day. Quincy Market, Freedom Trail, Charles River, Boston Harbor, Bunker Hill, Griffin Wharf, Fenway Park, North Charge. It's been such a long time since Boston led the way. It's more than a feeling. It's Mike and Tom to start the day.
Hey. Turn this up a tick. Radio check. Can you guys hear me good? Yes? Can you hear me? Yes, everybody? I have little mittens running around here stepping on stuff, so I'm not sure if they hit a button on my controller. Nice. Happy Friday. We made it. Oh, thank you, Rivera. Well, we're still here. We're not going anywhere, I promise. And there's Gail. Can't do a show without Gail. You can't hear me, huh, Gail? How about now? Okay. So, got a little show for you guys today. A few things. Couple things are new. And couple things on. How do we want to start the day today? I think we should start the day today with a smile. You guys want to laugh? You want a little chuckle? This is what... Oh, my God. You guys ready for this one? And this is Grant. And this is Kate Peter. Walking Neanderthal. Here we go. Shrek. That's a good one. I got to give it to him. No, I didn't share it. Damn it. That's me. My fault. Stupid me. Okay. This is today at court. Grant outside interviewing Miss Peter. Here we go.
Miss Peter, why did you and Brian Tully release Lindsay Gattani's unredacted cell phone extraction? You have so much to say online and so little to say in person. Well, at least you don't look like Shrek today. That's a positive, right? We're trying to be nice. God bless America.
Did you guys hear that one? Everybody? Yes, no? Yeah? All right. Shelby heard it. She's laughing. So that's Grant this morning. Okay. That's Grant. And you got to give it to him today. Just a little bit. I'm not condoning what he did. I'm not condoning what he says, but this morning that dude was funny. So also Grant has also been kind enough to tell us what was going on in the courtroom. Now, if you guys don't know the story, you heard stuff, but the lowdown in the story is this, that Aiden has a friend and her name's Lauren. Lauren's a sweetheart of a girl If you know who I'm talking about, you know exactly. You agree that she's a sweetheart. She would not hurt a fly. She's just Lauren's dynamite. Kate, for whatever reason, is attacking and following and stalking and putting Lauren in fear just because she's friends with Aiden. That's bizarre, people. I'm sorry, but that's over the edge. Just because he can't have friends, like Lauren's friends with everybody. If you know who I'm talking about, you know what I mean. She's friends with everybody, but yet she selectively picked her, not because she's friends with everybody, but because she's just friends with Aiden. Chick's freaking tapped out. So everywhere she goes, Kate's been violating the restraining order that that Lauren has on Kate, and Kate just violates it. She's up to like 4 or 5 different violations now. This is one of the ones that she's being called on the carpet for. The other ones that she's been in front of a judge for, we'll say, all the different times, and I have them all recorded, all the different times she's been in front of a judge, they've always just like continue, like come back in another month or come back in whatever. Or her lawyer's not here. Always been an excuse. Today, no different. Absolutely no different of a day today. So, as we will see, this is 26 seconds of the first call for Kate. Now, listen to this. This is going to get monotonous and you're going to get confused a little bit, but this is kind of important. Let me make sure all right, there we go. All right, play.
Yes, Your Honor. Speaking to the defense counsel, it seems that the previous special prosecutor was the Plymouth County prosecutor. He has resigned. He no longer works at Plymouth County. I understand.
Okay, so the lawyer from Plymouth County that took this case because it was a different county, he quit. He's not here. No, I'm sorry. He moved. Listen to what they said. He just did a transfer to another county. It was all a political deal. Watch this.
I understand that he and defense counsel had previously worked out a recommendation. I'm asking for a second call to speak with my supervisor to see whether or not my office will be adopting that recommendation as well.
That's great. Okay, we'll give it a second call. Thank you.
So the deal, there's Kate right there, the defendant. The deal that was made was between the two lawyers. They come up to an agreement, whether it be pleading guilty or whatever the case is. Who knows? But that guy left. So the new guy that stepped in, this guy here in the black jacket, he's got to check with his office to see if he can honor the agreement that was made prior. But the guy that left, he didn't leave. He's just not there. Hold on one second, guys. No more. Get down. All right. Sorry, a couple toddlers here. Yeah, again, they're just kicking the can down the freaking road again, over and over and over again. So that's where we left off with that today. Recess till 10, blah, blah, blah. Had a post plea to... All right. I'm going to ask, we have a very special guest coming on today. Nan's coming on, so I'm going to ask her about this. Kate Peter had proposed plea disposition in the ongoing felony witness intimidation cases involving Lauren Murray, rejected because of potential conflict with the Norfolk DA. The Norfolk Assistant District Attorney tried to sign the green sheet and the judge denied it. Wow. That's just confusing. So speak of that, the legal questions. Maybe I should ask her myself. Let's see. Coming on up. There you are.
Hello, how are
Hey,
you?
good. It's been a minute.
It's been a little minute. I
How you?
missed you.
I missed you. How's everything? How's everybody good?
Everybody's great. Yeah, I'm
Listen.
getting ready to come up to Massachusetts in a few days.
Yep.
Hopefully I
Nice.
cross your path.
I hope. Like you can get in and out without any.
I come in an
Oh,
undisclosed
can,
means of transportation
can you
and
believe?
maybe a disguise.
You never know, right? But can you believe what's going on up here? Like, is it like where do you even begin, Nan? Where do you start?
It's funny now that I've had a chance to reflect after the Karen Reed verdict and the fact that I'm still dug into all of the other matters, including Aiden's and all of these other
Mhm.
corollary cases. People have asked me, what made you so interested in all of the things that are going on in Corruptachusetts? And I said, it's all converging all at once. There's such a disclosure of corruption and malfeasance and chicanery, all of it, that it makes it interesting to someone like me. It also presents lots of legal issues and
Mhm.
acrobatics that, as an analyst, I consider myself a legal analyst in my
Right.
own mind.
Absolutely.
I try to break things down and fit them together and make them make sense, and I can't. So until I can, or until everything starts to comport itself the way things are supposed to, like on the planet I live on, I'm not
Right.
going anywhere. I'm not chasing clout. I'm not seeking attention. I'm simply just interested in trying to help be a voice to shed a little bit of light on all of this. And maybe it helps comfort some people and also piss a few people off along the way.
I'm glad it doesn't make sense to you because it sure doesn't make sense to me. What's this green sheet that Grant's talking about? It was ADA sports, but I've never heard of this green sheet.
So unfortunately, you're catching me on a day where I've been traveling most of the morning. So I don't really know. In
Okay.
fact, while I was
Yeah.
watching your videos, I was listening to you moments before I hopped into your green room, and I don't know what you're talking about, but if you refresh my understanding, I'm happy to give some
Okay.
thoughts on it.
The He referred to it as a green sheet. Okay. Now I don't
Hmm.
know if that's something that is if it's a sheet that two parties, like the two different attorneys, have to come to an agreement upon, so that it doesn't have to go through the whole process. We're kind of going to sidestep the process because we've come to an agreement. Judge who's got to sign it. Is that the green sheet?
Yeah, so we don't call it a green sheet in my world, but yes, and I was listening to a content creator while I was driving back to my home office a short while ago, and it's my understanding that some type of plea
Mm-hmm.
was agreed upon by the prosecutor and whomever
The
is.
price. Well, there was an agreement, but the prosecutor
Mhm.
who assigned that agreement, he's no longer with that division. He's moved. He's loitering somewhere else in the county, different county. They moved
Right.
him. So now the new guy had to ask the office if he could sign, or I guess agree to that agreement that was made prior to him coming along.
Yeah.
That's
So
where
when
it left
when
off.
when you and by the way, this is going to sound like a stupid question, but does Krusty have an attorney, or is she stupid enough to go pro se?
Public, I think, public defender.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Isn't that let's just comment on that for a moment. While
Yeah.
there's nothing shameful about having a public defender, and I don't mean any offense to anyone who is indigent or
Mm-mm.
qualifies for it. But for someone, and I'm talking to you, KP, for someone who spends day and night living so far up Aiden Carney's butt crack
Mm-hmm.
to live on Twitter, make videos, do what you got to do to be a thorn in his side, and you've got a public defender? How about you make yourself a productive citizen and an entitled beneficiary of taxpayer dollars in that county? That would be a more productive and humane use of your time. But anyway, I digress. With that said, and I truly mean it, I have no elitism. I don't fault anyone for being eligible and making use of public defender resources. But if that's not a prime example of laughable misuse and abuse of taxpayer dollars, I don't know what is.
Well,
Because
it's
if
not.
she-
It's more than that. It's so much more than that. She's past the level of, listen. If somebody has an accident or gets into a jam one night, has a bad night, whatever happens, that's the public defender.
Right.
Not for the continuous. She's made very, very deep and sincere violations. Like she's gone
yeah.
out of her way to violate the order.
She has. It's like in the civil realm, we would call that like an ongoing tort. There's just a
Right.
continuous effort to do something wrong, or
Yep.
to, in the realm of negligence where you don't intend to do something wrong, but you just exercise this or misexercise a duty of care to the point where it's just a prolonged episode. And I look at KP and I say to myself, what a waste. What a waste of resources, because I'm going to give her a compliment right now. I think she's pretty articulate and I think she's a pretty good writer. If she would take those resources and actually be a good citizen, be productive, be a model for her children, those she has and those she lost custody of, wouldn't this story just be a different story that we'd be talking about, or one not at all? But she has invested her time hurting people, including me, by the way. And I'm not saying she hurt me, but she's
I'm on
made a
that
few,
list also.
right.
I mean,
she's
yeah.
taken a few swipes at us. And why? Because we're calling out BS as it relates to Michael Morrissey and
If
all
it
of
was
the
that,
corruption.
I'd accept it. If it was that, it's got nothing to do with that. That's the problem. That she doesn't care. She
Yeah,
only
she doesn't
focused
care.
because of Aiden. That's it. She hates Aiden that much.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
legit that much. She goes after anyone around him. Look at it.
And I know we went on this tangent, but I think it's important to stay on it just because I haven't spoken to you in so long. Like, there's been this ongoing narrative of Turtle Boy Derangement Syndrome, also known as TDS, which I want to comment on for a minute because it exists. It's like a real thing. There are people who past tense, were supportive of him. And let's use the Karen Reed case as an example. We're absolutely free Karen Reed, and then had a falling out with Aiden Carney for whatever reason. And not only do they hate him, they make it their mission in life to destroy him or to defame him or to in any way impede his ability to have freedom from incarceration. And then they also take the added step in the Karen Reed matter of going from thinking Karen was innocent to thinking she actually struck John O'Keefe with a car. It is a deep-rooted illness. And I kind of spoke up about it on X the other day, and there were people who professed themselves to be turtle riders or to have been turtle riders. And in the midst of all of the current pending drama, which I won't comment
Right.
on,
Yep.
but in the midst of all of that, there is at least one, and I know there are more, but I'm thinking of one right now who says that he/she is a turtle rider or was a turtle rider and now is questioning, I'm going to hold that drama aside, but is now questioning the existence of Turtle Boy Derangement Syndrome. Like, oh, that makes Turtle Boy a narcissist because he's coined this phrase. It's a real thing. I mean, you could call it any name, but he's talked about this, quote, syndrome so many times on his streams. And I'm like fully bought in on that. Like, I agree.
Yeah. Oh no. Yep.
And people have been in the midst of that pending drama saying, oh, is Nan now going to have Turtle Boy Derangement Syndrome because she chooses to, and for the record, let's make sure the microphone is working. For the record, I am staying neutral. That does not mean that I condone any behavior.
Right.
I don't condemn. I was listening to Aiden's bus stop live this morning, and he was talking about condemning, people who expect people to condemn others. And just for the record, he doesn't expect that. He doesn't do that. He doesn't say, well, if this person is bad, then you must condemn them. Do you condemn them? I don't condemn anyone just because I see a certain type of behavior. I don't like certain behaviors or acts, but I am as neutral. I'm more neutral than Switzerland ever was.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to take an opportunity selfishly on your platform to say, for all of you who think, well, Nan's still friendly with JFK and James Jackson and Kevy Kev, or, well, Nan seems to still be supporting Turtle Boy. Either she's going to have Turtle Boy derangement syndrome,
Right.
or she's really truly an operative spy trying to gather intel
From
for
day one. Right.
And I heard from a friend, and admittedly I didn't watch, but I heard from a friend that there was buzzing in the chat on Turtle Boy's sex cult last night, that there were people whimsying that I'm somehow romantically involved with James Jackson. And I did hear that Aiden said some nice things about me or disavowed that. I don't know. I didn't hear it, but
people out there can, people out there can say that, right?
yeah.
And people thought I was having a thing with you, and it's like, no, like I can be friends with people and not like it's not that. People can't see through what their own body or their own mind's telling them, and they're gonna blame. Oh my God, I'm gonna blame this person for saying it. It's them. They're the ones that are the sick people, man.
Well, it's
you
true.
know-
And now you make me think of something else, Tommy. So I'm going to say it because I know you won't. I'm saying past tense. It may be present tense. There had been some friction between people on the boots on the ground, people at ground zero, and you were at one end of it and other people were at another. That's another example of someone like me, an outsider who came into this environment with no malintentions and only the best of intentions.
And I'm embarrassed for Massachusetts that you came into that.
Oh, don't
That you
be.
even had to know, because we're better than that, man.
And
We
you've
really
said that, you're like, welcome to Massachusetts. But, I don't mind because, you guys really aren't much worse than other states. It's a little acute right now. I hope it dies down. But when there was a flare up, and again, this may be present tense, and I'm not going to comment on the substance of the dispute at ground zero.
Right.
But when that flared up, there were people who, again, expected me to take sides, expected me to not talk to one side and only talk to the other side, or to, as Aiden used that word, condemn certain behaviors.
They're pretty much telling you what to do.
Yes, which, by the way, never ends well. No one should ever tell me what to do. But then also, I go by how people treat me, and the people all involved have treated me very well. I had one run-in with one individual in the midst of all of that at ground zero, which was not pleasant for me, and I moved past it. But everybody has treated me with respect. I don't think I need to be friends with everyone, or they need to be my friend. I mean, we've only interacted in a limited way, but I'm just not going to choose sides. And I've told both sides that, Tommy, I've actually told you that.
That was one of the things. It's like, you don't have to, Nan. You're like,
Right.
I'm not choosing. I'm like, you don't have to. That's the beauty of it all, right?
Right. And the other thing I wanted your audience to know is that with me not choosing sides, I also wanted your audience to know how I feel about you, because you have been and continue to be such a wonderful treasure to me. You've been an ambassador to me. You have been nothing but a gracious host to your corrupt state to me. You've actually unsolicitedly, gone out of your way to walk me around the Norfolk Superior Court area. Like, remember that day?
Yeah.
It's actually on your thumbnail. Like, you
I remember
took
that
it upon yourself and just walked around with me because there were crowds of people the day before and including the day of the verdict. And
Mhm.
it was absolutely appreciated by me. And you've been there for me in some dark times. We've had some very dark, very lengthy discussions.
Mhm.
And I love you, Tommy. And no one, and not a lot of people are asking me or have asked me to change how I feel, but no one is ever going to change how I love you, how I treat you, what I think of you, because I go by how you treat me and when you've been there for me. So you've
And I've
got it
always tried to do that, right? And you give
always.
respect and you get respect. And if someone doesn't want to give it to you, you move on. You can find someone else that will take it. And
Right.
those are the special people out there. You know,
And there are special people out there. And
and you're one of them. To come here, to come into this fire, come into this. We're having a perpetual earthquake here. You're walking right down the middle of the street, not caring about stuff falling down, and you're still walking. So, you know, that I appreciate and respect. Oh my God, Nancy S. Wow. Just
Wow.
sorry, everybody. Mike's not here today. He's someday you have good days and you have bad days. And you have
Oh,
middle
no
days.
problem.
I only want Mikey on his good days. So
Yeah, I
gonna-
only
gonna-
want Mike on his good days too.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought he was going to be here, but that's
He was.
okay.
No, he was. He was planning. It's just today just ended up not being a good day for him. So
Hey, Mike, if
prayers.
you're Mike, when you're watching, you and I are going to have a conversation really soon, and I wish you nothing but good health, feel good, sending you love and prayers. I think of you all the time. And me sitting in my mansion with surrounded by a moat and German and British supercars. I mean, who am I going to talk to about that? So
Right.
I love you. I love you, Boston Mike.
Yeah, just he's doing great, and just keep praying, and that's all we can do for Mikey.
Totally.
So yeah, back to the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anyone can tell me, right? And it would be funny to tell me whether don't like Nan because I don't like Nan. You know,
Mhm.
they're allowed that, but you're not going to tell me who I can and can't like. It's just not going to happen. And let me show you something here. Let me show
Yeah.
you something that just you want to talk about nice and out of the blue, right? This is what everybody should strive to be, at least. Stop that, open, share this, check this out. Out of the blue, this guy shows up because it sees her because she had a sticker on her car. This guy here says to her, I like your sticker. And got out of the car and took a picture with her this morning.
This was from this morning?
This is this morning.
By the way, he's Nathan's looking very svelte.
He's
So, but isn't this a wonderful testament to the type of people whom the Reeds are, and also even someone like Nathan. And again, I don't mean to judge a book by its cover. I mean, I've only met him a couple of
I
times.
will.
But
He's
but
great.
he is. He is. But I will say he isn't it like that was so palpably he looks palpably different to me. Like now that huge load of the stress is off of his family's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're starting, it looks like he's starting to feel healthy again, both physically and mentally. So I'm really happy about that. I'm totally judging a book by
And
its
that
cover.
says a lot about him because he could have looked at that sticker and kept going, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He stopped, took the time, got out, took a picture with her. Like, this is way after the fact. He could just be like gone and not forgotten about. Like but still, what a great guy to stop,
Totally.
take his time out this morning. And, he's kind of the brother that everyone in here wants.
Oh, I agree.
You know.
And where was that posted, by the way?
In a private chat that I'm in, I asked the lady if I could use that picture this morning.
Well, the reason I ask is, that there's a lot of people who, as a content consumer, I see and read a lot of people saying, oh my God, the Reeds are being quiet and Karen's not speaking up and coming out and going here or going there. Like, the trauma that this family has been through, I just don't expect, I don't expect anything from them, and they are grateful. But for anyone out there, this is just my opinion, for anyone out there who says they need to show appreciation or speak out or give back, whatever, in whatever ways, attending things, having an event, I think that's a ridiculous expectation. But that runs against my grain. When I give, I don't expect to receive.
There's a couple problems with that, Nan. One
Sure.
is the family is so nice and so open that, like you just saw, Nathan will stop and take his time to say something to a stranger. He doesn't know this lady, but he took the time out this morning to do that. Even 5 minutes for a picture. The whole family's like that. If they even give us a little bit, we will absolutely abuse that privilege, because everybody is dying, because we feel like we've been through these 2 trials with them. Not 1, 2 different trials they went through,
Ugh.
right? And they stayed strong and they didn't fail, not one bit. And we went through it with them. So we feel part of them when
You do.
they don't owe us anything. We don't want anything, but they're the best for them. But I think if they gave us anything, by default, we would just abuse it, because we are so hungry to show back, to show them what we have, that
Yeah.
the intentions would be good, the outcome would be bad, unfortunately. I
This
think.
also makes me think of one other thing, which is, and I know I am part of the content consumption family when I say this. There's a lot of people that I'm seeing in YouTube chats and on social media who amidst all of the drama, which we don't have to talk about, but who are expecting answers, who are expecting whatever, like I said, things back from the reads, or to have um, people come forward and speak the truth, whatever the truth is. I wish that didn't exist, because there's so much drama, desire, this consumption that people want. And it's not everyone. And I'm actually not faulting people for wanting that. What I just feel like is just go touch some grass. Just go look at a sunset. That's how I've been posting on my social media, because it can be a lot. And to expect things that you're just not going to get, or not get yet, or even ever be entitled to, you end up just getting disappointed. And also, having had the opportunity myself to touch some grass and look at sunsets lately, it has helped me. It has helped me greatly in terms of trying to compartmentalize the unreality of
Mhm.
social media
Right.
and some scary stuff that's been going on in my life, and then also just taking a moment for yourself. I mean, look at Mikey, for example, right? He's not feeling well today, or maybe he's feeling fine but just not feeling up to it.
hmm
If what has happened to Mike has not put things in perspective for your viewership, I don't know what to tell them.
I
That's
can't
like,
make them see that, right? I can't. I
right.
can only show them this is the best, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole
It's just,
drama isn't worth it's noise. It's why plot? Why? It
why?
doesn't move the football anywhere. It
It
doesn't.
doesn't. And I want everyone to, like, this was a quieter week. I don't know about you. I thought
Yeah,
this was
it
and
it was.
I heard Aiden say that too on his YouTube live
I
today.
think he's got 2 more weeks, and then his charges go away forever? Like,
Oh, well,
he
his
doesn't have too
charges,
much. He's
I
stately.
believe it's on two. I never have this encyclopedic knowledge of his pending. You guys say charges.
Charges.
I say charges, but I'm learning. But I think 2 of his charges would go away if nothing happens in 2 weeks. I just honestly, I don't know. I need to roadmap this, and I keep saying I'm going to go back and watch, like, for example, The Glare. I know spent
Yeah.
several of his live streams going through the charges.
He did.
I need to do that, and I haven't. I don't think it's a full-blown everything goes away. But Cosgrove has major conflicts of interest. These are not, well, it could be a conflict. No, these are major rule book, we call it Hornbook law conflicts of interest.
Basics.
This is like classic bar exam type of scenarios where they want you to sit down and say, here's the fact pattern. Please write a 10-page essay on all of the issues you spot. And I can put myself 25 years ago sitting as a new baby attorney, sitting down and writing this out. There's really no way out of Cosgrove's gauntlet on this. And that derivatively stems to Meatball Morrissey. It's a bad sign, in my opinion, that you're now 23 days out of the last hearing where the court gave Cosgrove 30 days to find, not just Cosgrove, but Morrissey, 30 days to find a replacement. And you're 23 days in and there's nothing that's happened. And I understand they keep kicking the can down the road, but I don't think there's going to be any replacement attorney who is worth their weight in gold, who is ethically sound, who would want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Because not only are the charges so specious against Aiden and contrived, but also if anyone takes this over, there is a substantially high likelihood that they're going to get sued, not only by people like Aiden Carney in a civil rights action, but
and I'm going to bring that up too.
People like the fake victim. I won't name her, but I mean she's already sued and or threatened to sue.
Right.
Lawyers from the Commonwealth who are prosecuting this case. So it's I think they're not going to have someone by day 30. And I'm predicting they're probably going to come in and say we need more time. And God, for the judges up there, enough. This never would have happened on my planet. So it's
right. Can we play this out? So say time comes and time goes. There's no prosecutor, right? What do the charges just get dropped? Are they erased? Are they put on the books for later use? Can they bring them back? Can they pop them on anything else? What about what about being in jail? Does that go away too? Because they didn't the violation was not do you get it? He couldn't violate something if it doesn't exist.
So the answer is there's several answers to the several questions you asked. Keeping in mind I don't have a real good roadmap of all of the charges. Okay. That is like the one area where I'm like, I know there's a bunch of them. I know what they're generally about, but the shortest answer for your questions is it depends. If they can't find a replacement prosecutor, and I think really we're dealing with two of the charges, which ones I don't specifically remember, but if they can't find a replacement, the charges could be dismissed by the court. And that can be A, with prejudice, which means permanently, or B, without prejudice, which means that the Commonwealth could bring them back if and when at such time they're ready. Although I think without prejudice dismissal of them is unlikely, but I've seen that happen in other quote unquote true crime cases. That happened in the Barry Morphew case, which is pending now, if anyone is interested, out in Colorado.
So, when does he apply? Does he have to apply to have that turned into that? Like, does he have to ask the court to?
Yes.
That's after the time's up.
Yes, but I believe there's also, if my memory is serving me correctly, I want to say he already has some pending motion to dismiss. Either that or I'm mixing my memories and he keeps saying he's going to be filing one. But I think there's a pending one.
Maybe done two. Why do I want to say two? I think they've done, him and his lawyers did two.
The nice thing about Bradel and Betterow is, and they are exceptionally fantastic attorneys.
Wonderful.
They are not only zealously defending him, but they're kind of stacking their strategy. They're like,
Mhm.
okay, at this turn, we're going to file this because there's this level of malfeasance on behalf of the prosecutor.
Right.
So, but then something new happens and they get 4,000 pages and only 2 of them are visible. So they maybe file another one. Now there's the issue of the conflict. So whether or not there has been, is pending, or will be motions to dismiss, which Betterow and Bradel will ask for dismissals with prejudice, meaning permanently, the court will entertain, when it's ready, these applications to absolutely dismiss the charges outright, whether it's all of them or some of them. And I think we can all agree, you know what, if it has to be done piecemeal and it's a few charges at a time, that's what we're going to do. We'll get a few charges dismissed, a few. I wish it was more efficient than that. But it's apparently not up there. What I don't understand is why the courts, I don't understand the criminal court in Norfolk County right now. I don't get it. They play musical chairs with the judges. There is not one consistent quote unquote pretrial judge on any of his matters, which I have to believe, and I think he's even said it, meaning Aiden, causes Aiden and his attorneys much dismay and anxiety that, like, well, who are we going to get? Is it Krupp? Is it Doolin? Like, those are
Who
two
makes those
very...
decisions? And can we Freedom of Information request to find out who in the back? Is there someone making phone calls happening behind the scenes, making
So
that?
you would never be able to find that out via FOIA request. There are communications that are going back and forth behind the scenes, but I dare say it's not going to be anything that will produce fruit for you if you wanted to look into that. What
Yeah.
I believe is happening is there are kind of last minute audibles being called and like, oh, you know what, switch it up last minute. It'll be Krupp, not Doolin. And then they switch it again. And as a litigator of 25 years, like, I would hate that because I go into court saying, this is who I get. I know what they're like.
You know
I
who
know
you're
they're
fighting. You know who you're going
Yeah,
against.
I
Right.
know they're a Republican or a Democrat, and yes, unfortunately, that can matter with
does.
what
In,
I know
in
if
this
they've
state,
had.
it does.
Right. Or I know if they were a prosecutor previously or a public defender. This is what frames my mindset as a strategist on behalf of my client. So the fact that they just changed these and the absolute disparity between the philosophies of some of these judges is outstanding. Like Krupp is, I'm going to speak respectfully, he's not as open-minded as a jurist as someone like Doolin is. You know, Doolin at least recognized a few months ago that Aiden, or at least was open to a dialogue that Aiden was a satirist
Right.
and an activist. That is open-mindedness. Doesn't mean Doolin is, you know, in his pocket or he's definitely going to rule in Aiden's favor, but he's at least open-minded as to whether or not conduct of Aiden Carney rose to the level of criminal culpability. So I don't get it. I don't understand why they play musical chairs with the judges. I don't understand why deadlines apparently don't matter in that jurisdiction. And it's not just deadlines on, hey, you have 30 days to get a new prosecutor.
Right.
Okay. I've already said I think it's going to get to day 30 and Cosgrove's going to ask for more time.
Right.
The more egregious abuse of deadlines that I see is the fact that Cosgrove does not formally oppose any motion Bradel or Betterow had filed until like the day before. That doesn't happen in criminal practice or in civil practice. You don't file your opposition the day before or the morning of an argument or a hearing. You don't file your opposition or you don't go to court not having opposed an application and then tell a judge I need more time. If you need more time to do A, B, or C, you let the judge and I'm sorry, I'm glitching. You let the judge and the parties know ahead of time, well in advance. At least a week out. I'm going to need more time on this, and here's why. I hate sending those letters because I try to do what I'm told, but that's what you do. That's what we call professional responsibility. That seems to be vacant up there. And it is one of the reasons why I am and continue to remain not only a supporter of people like Karen Reed, Aidan Carney, and others, Sandra Birchmore, which is a federal case, people, I'm not going to say Brian Walsh, but people like Kelsey Fitzsimmons, whose rights are just getting trampled upon. I look at these things and I say, well, until this starts to comport itself in a manner that I'm used to, in my experience, I'm going to stay put, because if I've got questions, then I know Nan can perhaps help answer some questions for the lay people who, like you, who are like, is this how it's supposed to work?
Does not make any sense. And the fact that you don't make it sense to you, it blows my mind. Like,
yes,
how does this not make sense to you?
Ugh.
This is your realm, and the Constitution was written a long time ago. And don't think it's changed much. It's still there, right?
It's still there.
So, I gotta say something real quick about Aidan, right? Here's one of the problems with Aidan, and it's not Aidan's fault. The problem is you have all these people now. He's got 160,000 subscribers. I remember when there was only 11 of us. If you go backwards and you look at what Aidan did in the past, how he's developed as a journalist, as a satirist, how he's developed in that role, he's actually like at a pinnacle now. And wouldn't you know, Karen Reed comes along, he already knows what to do. He already knows. So all this stuff, he's doing this, he's doing that, not true. If you've been with him from the beginning, like I have, then you can understand and see who Aidan is. For people that don't know him, and all of a sudden Karen Reed comes about, and this guy who's in charge of it, or who has all this information, is Aidan. Everyone's looking at him. So he's got so many more eyes on him. And just that alone, I can promise you, I love every viewer I have. I cherish them. And, some of them know more about me than I know about me. And that's one of the things that happens on the internet. And I don't know, but by being on the internet, it's part of the deal. That's part of it. So he's got 160,000 people on him. I would never want to be in his position.
No.
Ever. Now, because of who he is and how he does what he does, they're trying to put charges on him to say that type of reporting, like going after the truth, that's not allowed. That's the real fact here. It's Aidan had the audience to bring out the truth. That's what this is all about. Shut him up. Throw him in jail.
And he's the best explainer of that. Every time he kind of gets into that on his YouTube presentations, as Cosgrove likes to call them, I always listen intently, because it has all been designed to shut him up. Whether it's been motivated by people like Krusty Panties,
who's helping,
Tully,
who's
Morrissey,
helping,
the McAlberts,
hanging,
right?
Yeah.
And honestly, and I agree with Aidan when he says this, like, Aidan can't control what all other people who follow him do.
The Boston Globe, the Herald. Think about the newspapers. They're gonna get blamed for control. Like, if they report on a car accident, is it their fault? The Globe, the Herald.
Correct. And whether it's the people who participated in the, what did you call that? The rollout or the
rolling rally.
Yes, I apologize.
Yes, I was
like
there.
Totally showing my jerseyness. The rolling rally, the Campton 9, all of the, and I'm just giving examples that are kind of popping into my head. Aidan can't control what everyone does. If Aidan reports on an issue, and one of his viewers decides, I'm going to look this person up on Google and then torment their employer. Like, I get it when he says this. He cannot, it's untenable to control the masses.
Right.
I think he and I disagree, and he doesn't know this, but I think I disagree with him on one point, and I would
Mhm.
say this respectfully to him if he were standing in front of me, which is he is very unrelated to. I don't think he spurs on any criminal activity. Let me hold that aside. But
Right.
I will say he has a strong voice and he has very avid listeners and fans of all different types of levels. He even has people who hate watch him just to find out information from him.
Yep.
But with all of that said, I do feel on certain things that if he says, you know, I don't like this, or this is something I don't care for, that can go a long way in quelling certain behaviors. And I'm not talking about criminal behaviors.
Mhm.
And I'm not implying that he should be speaking up and talking about anything that might be an elephant in the room or any of that.
Right.
But
Right.
some people are influenced by him. Some people will never be influenced by him. And I don't think he
Mhm.
intends one way or the other.
Right.
But what I can say is has been, he has been, as you know, publicly supportive of me and or neutral as to me, despite the fact that some individuals either in his chats or in his circles do not care for me. I'm an
Mhm.
acquired taste, but he has always been kind of the way I am in terms of I treat people how they treat me.
Yeah.
And I have shown him nothing but respect, whether I like all that he has done or not. And I don't know all that he has done or not,
And
which is
neither do I, right? And nor do I care. Tell you the truth, and like that doesn't
it.
bother me. You know,
I just don't go, I don't rush and say, well, if he did this, then I absolutely must hate him for doing, like, I don't,
right.
where I become hyper rational on these things and I say, I don't know details, so therefore I am not going to rush in and judge.
Right.
You know, I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's how I am. There are a lot of people who throw babies out with the bathwater and who choose to just be so black or white. I am extremely shades of gray, but I'm exactly what I say I'm going to be. And I will tell people I am not choosing sides. I will not share personal information if you care to share it with me with
Right.
the other quote side, but please don't judge me if I'm staying, as we were talking about before. If you see me talking to this person, judge me as a person, not
It-
as an enemy.
You know what the beauty of the whole thing is, Nan? The most beautiful thing that nobody sees, right? Is like I know who you are. I know Nan. I know
You
Nan,
do.
right? So when someone if someone was to come up to me and say, "Hey, blah 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 about Nan," like first off, I would say, "Okay," and walk away because they probably first one don't know you, two heard it wrong, said it wrong, and all the other stuff. So like it's all
Some of
just,
it might be right. You never know.
you know,
I don't know.
maybe 1%. But no, I don't even care for it, you know.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be yourself, and when you be yourself, you don't have to be anybody else. That's the
Yes.
problem that some of these people I think are having is they're trying to be two and they can't, and
Yes.
things are
And
getting tight.
I hate the saying. I didn't realize I hated it until recently. Two things can be true at the same time. You know, like I
Mhm.
could be a Turtle Boy supporter of, you know, things that he is being wrongfully accused of, or his satirical activism and brave writing. I can support that, but guess what? I can also know that JFK and James Jackson, and I'm not excluding Kevy Kev, but I've
Mhm.
never met Kevy Kev. I can say that JFK and James Jackson, beyond just meeting them a
Mhm.
handful of times, they have been there for me
Mhm.
in the darkest of times. And I'm not excluding others. You've been there too, Tommy, as
And-
has people like Brian LTL, and DJ Bia. I'm now going to start forgetting people, but in terms
It
of
never fails.
public,
Right.
the public in the public eye. And if anyone's listening who I'm forgetting, I apologize. But I can be supportive of JFK and James, and because they've had my back, and
Mhm.
they have had my back when some others have known what has been happening to me, chose to just stay quiet. And that's
Mhm.
fine. I never judged people in the public eye for staying quiet, knowing full well what was happening to me. But James and JFK did not stay quiet for me, and they have been there for me. And no, I'm not paying them to be my friend. And no, I'm not sleeping with, which is the newest rumor as of last night. I'm not sleeping with James Jackson.
Next week it'll be someone else. Don't worry.
I wish my sex life was as exciting as people
I
seem to think it
They all
is.
make. Look, I've been there. I'm
You've been there,
just,
right? I
just
mean,
say
we're
okay.
apparently an item.
Yep.
So, but the point is, like, I can be both. And for anybody who continues to feel like it has to be one or the other, or live in the black and white zone, just please unfollow me. Don't
And,
listen to me.
and
Turn the page, change the channel. I don't care, because I'm still going to support those purposes of Aiden, and based on my interactions with him and what I see coming from him. And I don't love all that I see. I want to be very clear. I don't love all that I see, but I respect him enough to make my own determinations as to him. And I'm still going to support JFK and James Jackson, and derivatively Kevy Kev. And you know what that makes me? That makes me a human who makes up her own mind.
imagine that, huh? And to be honest,
Exactly.
to be honest, the whole thing with JFK and James and Kevy Kev, as long as they treat you respectful, which I know they will, I know they have,
Yes.
and as long as you're able to see eye to eye with them and make that happen, and if they're like loyal to you, that's all that I really care about. Everything else, who you're sleeping with, one of them, both of them, the relatives, a friend of theirs, who knows? I don't care. I just
Maybe
only
it's
care.
both at the same time, or
Well,
all three.
there you go. Right? I mean, I'm sure that's the next rumor next week. But I'm only concerned that they just treat you with respect and care and love, and I know they do. So at that point, I don't have to worry about you when you're with
Yes.
them. So, like, if you were with somewhere else, I would probably go and just to keep an eye on you, just to make sure
I
that
know you
you
would.
get hijacked. Because I mean, there's a lot of people out there. You know what I mean? And not all of them are nice.
I
There
know.
you
And
go. So majority of them are, but just the law of averages doesn't work out too good.
everybody in the audience, Tommy is he's so protective of me. The first time I came up to Dedham, it was besides my first night there where I met Tommy and Mike and others for dinner. That next morning, I was a little late. There was some traffic getting from my hotel to the court, and Tommy was like getting a little anxious. And that one or two of his mods reached out to me and said, "Hey, where are you? Like, Tommy's looking for you." I'm like, I'll be right there. I'm wearing a yellow jacket, And as soon as I got out of my car at the Registry of Deeds, like there he was waiting for me. So you are such a gentleman, and that is the kind of thing that I never forget. Like, no matter what, if everything became normalized in Massachusetts, and especially in those localized counties, I'm not going to ever forget the gentleman that you are to me. And I will not ever let that dissipate. Like, I
But
feel like it's a really special relationship, and
and
one
I
of the nicest things that I'm taking away from the FKR movement.
like how do I put this? I treated Will the same way I treated you, and I
Yeah.
treated um anybody that came down. I treated them all the same way because, like, I am the ambassador. I mean, if I'm part of that Karen Reed movement, I need to do my best to
You
show
are.
you and show others everything else. So look at what we all did. I mean, there was a lot of people there the last day. Like, oh my God. Like,
It was
I,
overwhelming.
even the first trial was so different than the second trial. The second trial was just, oh my word. amazing. And I was there, and you were there, and I'm kind of glad everything happened the way that it did, because Karen's innocent. She got an OUI now,
Yeah.
but she's getting her vehicle back, somewhat fixed. She's getting her phones, trying to get her phones now, right? What, like,
It's
why would they
ridiculous.
hold on to the phones? They already have a copy of it. Why do they can? Is that why? Just because they can?
Because they can, and because respectfully, Judge Krupp is misapplying the law. And he's misapplying the law not only because maybe there's a more nefarious reason, which I will not publicly say, but I wonder. But
How
the other
legally, how can he keep it? It doesn't even say search on the warrant. It says just take possession of the device.
there's no reason why he should have they already have a copy of what's on those phones. There's no reason why they can't be returned. Judge Krupp misapplied the law there, but what he also did, and I agree, someone just posted he hates Aiden. That's correct.
Yeah.
But also, and
Andrea.
that's bias. That's
Yep.
allowing your, hi Andrea L. That's allowing your bias to dictate your decisions, which is a no-no from a judicial standpoint. But also, Krupp, goes back to what I was saying. The judges are not consistent. Like, you could have a switch at the last minute, and maybe
Right.
I'm going to be hypothetical, maybe at the last hearing, Doolin was like, this and this and this and this must happen. I'll see you on October blank.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the last minute it switches to someone like Krupp or Frenier, I don't know how to pronounce her name, or
Yeah.
Sisitsky, anyone else, they don't have the historical bandwidth to know that X, Y, or Z happened at the last hearing. I can
Right.
tell you from experience, most judges who have to take over for other judges don't always read the file right before a
So
hearing.
they don't even
Like,
know what's going on. They don't even know how
Right.
long it's been going down.
Yep. Or they're certainly not listening or reading a transcript from the last hearing. So then this is what naturally becomes a byproduct. You now have a judge who's like, all right, 30 days, and okay, 30 days.
Right.
Or you can have the phones, but didn't this application say that you had to download the contents? Like this, it's almost like intentional ignorance.
Intentional ignorance. How
Yeah,
come
they're
the
just
judge? How come the judge didn't say a word when they gave Aiden 4,200 pages of discovery, and 4,000 of those pages were blank?
Oh my God. That
That's
would have
that's
imposed
ignorance.
sanctions.
How come the judge didn't say time out? Wait a minute, what? What? Because that happens so much. Oh,
That
they
happens
freaking
so
screw me
much.
that way.
And that would have imposed sanctions in my jurisdictions. A judge would not have stood for that. But also, this is one of the reasons why I continue to donate when I can, and when I choose to an example is to Aiden Carney's defense fund, because
Mhm.
that costs money to have Bradel and Betterow be
Yeah.
prepared. They have to be prepared not only to file various motions to dismiss and or strategic filings. They have to be prepared that at the next hearing, it's not going to be a waste of time. Like,
Think of
what
the
if they get a
people-
real
how many-
judge?
How many people does Bradel have working on the case behind him in his office? That costs money too, right? I mean, just the paralegals are like, oh my God, the research.
I agree. And the research alone is expensive. Also, the time it takes to go through eventually, when they get it, 4,000 pages of X, Y, or Z, and to make
Right.
heads or tails of it, sometimes on short notice. Sometimes, I don't like getting 4,000 pages and suddenly I've got to turn it around quickly. This is why I don't love the last minute disclosure of things. Like, that's not the way it's supposed
always,
to
yeah, we
work.
got it yesterday. We haven't even looked at it, Your Honor.
Right.
Always.
Which, by the way, in my jurisdictions, the judge, if they heard that, if they said, wait a minute, you got this yesterday? Yes, Your Honor. They would look right to the prosecutor and say, what the hell is going on here? How long have you had this? And without knowing details, I've heard Bradel and or Betterow say either to the court or might have been Betterow on streams, I don't know, where they've said like they've had this since 2023 or they've had this
Mhm.
since 2024.
All the time. Yes.
Prosecutorial disclosure of discovery, it's rolling. It's not hang on to it all to the last minute and then hand it over. I mean, there's some element of that. You actually have a drop end date by which you have to hand over everything and then certify that you've done so. But you're not supposed to wait for that deadline to do it. You're supposed to kind of rolling in a rolling manner, hand everything over as you get it, which is why it became very interesting to me on the Miles King case, because that's the one with Rosemary Scapiccio. And I'm not commenting on Miles
She's great.
King's.
I love her.
I
Oh
love
man, I have a
her.
thing for her. She's just all about business, that lady.
Yes, and
Yes.
I loved her. I fell in love with her on by watching Trial 4, and
Mhm.
I started rewatching it and when I go out for my runs. But on Miles King's case, and I'm not commenting on his innocence or guilt,
Mhm.
when we saw Lally giving his testimony about the protocols and procedures or lack thereof in the Norfolk County DA's office to hand over discovery. Like
Mhm.
that's laughable to me. There were things, affidavits, I don't know if it was the search warrant affidavits or parts of the search warrants were never even handed over to Scapiccio until like the 11th hour. Meanwhile, either Proctor had them or Lally had them, and I think they were Proctor, but Lally never pursued Proctor like a good, duly diligent
Man,
prosecutor should do. Yeah.
how do you have a company that does digital video manipulation as a second job from your first job at the DA's office? So we had, remember that? We had
Yeah.
Fanning and what's the girl's name?
Uh, Colleen,
Crawford.
yes.
They they go to work at the DA's office doing video, audio and video. And then they sub the work out to their company that they own that does audio and video. Same
I
job as they at the DA's office, and all that file stuff went to them.
I
That's
remember
wrong.
I remember when you told me when that news broke and you were first kind of talking with me about that on one of your streams. And this was what in the early months of 2025. All I kept thinking was not only is this a conflict of interest, this is such malfeasance. Okay, this is what we call unclean hands in the law. Like there's no way that type of dealing that dealt exactly, Andrea,
Nailed it. Yep.
that type of dealing from the law enforcement or prosecutorial offices derivatively to a third party entity that is owned or co-owned by individuals working for law enforcement, previously having worked for law enforcement, that is unclean hands at its finest. That is not supposed to happen. And that is, in and of itself, a grounds for dismissal of at least anything tied to that type of evidence, if not all of the charges as they related to Karen in the
And
first place.
I'm gonna absolutely disappoint 99% of my audience.
Uh-oh.
All the people that are law enforcement, they all know that this is going on and they allow it.
They do.
Complicit. They're part of it. I'm gonna break down. These police departments, they're all dirty. I'm telling you. The money you pay in taxes, they're pilfering, absolutely pilfering until they
this,
prove it differently. You know? No. Bad.
Well, this brings up an interesting point, and pardon me because I'm getting a tremendous leg cramp. Ow, I got to put my knee up. So last night, Brian LTL was going over the closing arguments that came down in the that were held in the Robert Brooks case, which was in
Mhm.
New York. I actually don't know. If anyone knows if there was a verdict in that case, please let me know.
That's the cop, right?
That's the corrections officers who completely, absolutely abused and attacked a prisoner for the life of me, I don't remember what New York prison, but no verdict yet. Thank you, Debbie. No verdict yet? Oh my goodness. But it's a bunch of correction officers who just abused a prisoner. And for anyone interested in it, I have to say the only content creator whom I follow who's covered Robert Brooks has been Brian LTL, and he's done so for a long time, and he's done so beautifully. So if anyone is interested, I imagine he's got some type of list of those those streams on it. But in that case, there were corrections officers who came into this scene in restraining Mr. Brooks, and ultimately Mr. Brooks died. But the point is, these officers in a prison came in at various different times and settings, and some knew this and others knew that, and some didn't
Right.
take actions to stop things, and they're all facing depraved murder charges in New York. With that said, some of the defense closing arguments that came down a couple days ago that were held, the lawyers for the defendants were saying, my client didn't know any better. He only came in at this
Right.
time. What
Right.
was he to know?
Yep.
Okay, but the prosecutor in his closing arguments had been saying they all should have stopped this injustice from happening. They all should have stepped in, no matter what level of involvement or in the timeline that they had, that even the lowest level corrections officer or CO should
Right.
have stepped up and said, no, I don't care if you're my supervisor. I'm telling you, no.
Mhm.
Same thing with Francis Gigalotti,
Yep.
which has been heavily,
One of the
the-
officers that was involved had a self-inflicted type of a thing, I'm hearing.
well, I don't know if it's been confirmed yet that officer in Francis Gigalotti's
Yeah.
matter actually self-inflicted something to cause her
But one less
death.
person we have that's what she saw. We don't know.
Right. But what I can tell you is it's a similar scenario with Francis Gigalotti in Haverhill. That was a 7-officer pig pile on a citizen who may or may not have been impaired and or mentally unwell. I don't know. The verdict is still out. I'm using verdict loosely. The verdict is still out on that. But they pigpiled him a la George Floyd,
Right. On
and
top
he
of
ended
them.
up getting positional asphyxiation, and he expired. So what has happened in Haverhill, and I'm not an expert on this, I only know what I've learned from JFK James and Kevy Kev. Brian LTL has covered it. Mike Crawford of the Young Jerks has covered it, and some other content creators. What I understand is that there has been an excessive use of force during the restraining of Mr. Gigalotti.
Well, yeah.
My understanding, by the way, is that Mike Crawford this afternoon on he fills in for Grace Curley on the Howie Carr show.
Yes, he's gonna have one of them on, right?
He's going to have Francis's, I believe it's his cousin, Becca, who's been very outspoken in the YouTube chats, and he's going to be interviewing her
Nice.
about Francis's case. But the reason I bring up Francis's matter, Tommy, is because those officers, one of whom has since expired,
Right.
should have stopped one another. Like, not some of them were not directly involved, or who kind of joined in
Right.
subsequently.
After. Right. Still. Yep.
Tying to what you were saying, officers need to step up and not be afraid to say, hey, enough's enough. I have a feeling there's probably some intonations of this as it relates to Enrique Delgado Garcia as well,
Another one.
who unfortunately expired in the course of a boxing exercise at the police academy.
The day before graduation?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not happening.
So I kind of feel like well, obviously I don't know. I
Yeah.
think there's been a grand jury that has been or was convened on Enrique
The whole
Delgado
class
Garcia's matter.
left. There's 2 classes that graduate every academy. The class that he was in, all the people never graduated. You're gone. Bye-bye. All of them kicked out of the academy.
Were they?
30-something people left. So 40, I think it was 41 or 42 people. They all left. Gone. Not
Why?
graduating ever.
Do you
They were there.
Oh my God. Well, I know more is to come on that matter, okay? And I know answers are needed. And I'm not even saying there's this huge conspiracy going on. I don't know. What I do know about Enrique Delgado Garcia, his matter is it has been before a grand jury, and there may or may not be individuals who may or may not be criminally culpable for a few things, whether it's an excessive use of
Right.
force, whether
Uh-huh.
it's failure to supervise or train properly,
Right,
and maybe
right.
these are civil culpability issues versus criminal. I don't know. But what I can tell you is nobody's going to convince me that when Enrique, and I mean this with all due respect to him and his family when I say this, and I wasn't there, but when he's getting the shit kicked out of him at the police academy in some type of unsupervised or poorly supervised boxing activity or training session, there should have been officers and or teachers in law enforcement who spoke up and said, hey, enough's enough here. And that is, it's this fear, which I can only think it's fear of fellow law enforcement not wanting to be a voice, not wanting
Absolutely.
to stand up. Why? Because it ends up being, you end up getting either bullied or suddenly you're on the outside, or maybe your job or your stability is being challenged moving forward. And by the way, to Kerry B in the chat, the reason we say expired is because on YouTube, there's a limit as to certain things that can be said.
Yeah.
So I'm not a content creator, but I felt that I should specifically respond to you as you've decided to enter this chat that I'm using a word that I don't think would get Tommy in any kind of trouble.
That
back
M
to-
word, the S word.
Yeah.
There's just words that they don't approve of. So.
But I wouldn't expect her to know that because she chooses not to create content except chaos on X and or to jump into chats and cause drama.
Yeah,
But I digress. With that said, I would say that Enrique Delgado Garcia expired because there were not properly brave and trained supervisors present to say, hey, enough's enough.
Man, but don't, supervisor or not, as a person, don't you just say stop or time out or can we take a break for a minute?
Oh,
No, just
Tommy.
as a person, you know.
There's plenty of people I'd love to say stop and time out to, but
Speaking about it, Dave had a great thing. At what point, Nan? At what point does the 3-letter alphabet people come in and take over? At what point? How bad does it have to get? I don't care about getting any more evidence. We got people dying. We can name off 2 or 3 people that aren't here right now because of, don't even say policies, because it ain't policies. It's not the procedures. It's the freaking people in there. When do they come and get them all out and start from scratch?
I love the fact, Tommy, that at the same time you can be inquisitive on the subject like that and hopeful that something like that happens. And at the same time, I know part of you deep down in the annals of your mind says they're never going to come in. Here is my answer. I've been dealing with the FBI for 20 years of a 25-year professional career. And I will tell you that they're there. They're just not coming forward yet. Whether they're exploring all of these cases, I don't know. They never stopped looking into Meatball Morrissey. And I don't think it was ever, a lot of people seem to think, whoa, the FBI is looking into Karen's case. actually don't think they were looking into Karen's case. Karen's case was just like a symptom of a bigger problem. And because her case was a symptom of a bigger problem, it became something like, well, wait, all right, why are they going, the feds were like, why are they going so hard after Karen Reed? We better look at that case to see if there's corruption or malfeasance and the like. So then they engaged ARCA.
Sandra Birchmore started it, and they were looking
Exactly.
at the investigators, the people
Correct.
that looked at the case, and then Karen Reed happened. So that kind of fell on their lap.
Yep.
So if they
And-
had their eyes open and they saw this whole thing unfold,
And
then-
they've never gone away. And I think they were looking before Birchmore, but I don't know why I think that. I want to say I was speaking to someone or watched something.
Mhm.
Birchmore kind of really brought it and punctuated it for the feds. But the feds have not gone away, in my opinion. I've been saying that since, I guess it was February. Was it like February 18th? That date is sticking out in my mind when Brennan came into court and in his very self-congratulatory manner said, nope, we're happy to announce that the feds they've closed their investigation. And then you had, what's her name? Helena Rafferty on her own letterhead make the same announcement. It does not work that way. They don't go and just walk away. The feds don't walk away. And guess what? If they close an investigation, guess who doesn't find out that the investigation is closed?
the people that were maybe getting looked at to begin with.
Correct. And I remember being new to a physical presence in Massachusetts in March of this year. It was the first time that I was present for, meeting some people and coming to court. And I had a conversation with someone extremely involved in the Karen Reed matter, like very, very prominently involved. And that person says, well, yeah, it's looking like the feds may have closed the book on this, meaning the Karen Reed case. And I remember at the time thinking, I've never met this person. I respect he or she very much, but he or she doesn't understand.
No.
So why don't the feds come in? I think they're in, but they are slow and methodical. There's a reason why their successful prosecution rate is as high as it is. They come when they're ready.
And if we can see, I mean, you take a step back, Nan. I mean, Massachusetts has all sorts of issues, like First Amendment issues. It goes on. So I know a lot of people are like, where are the feds? Where are the feds? Where are the feds? I don't even know where they would start. If they would have to do one at a time.
They
usually
what happens, and I know this from a little bit of professional experience with them on getting to see a little bit behind their curtain. And I have two cousins who are FBI agents. What I understand to be the case is they have like units, and that's my word, not theirs. They have different units that work on different things, and then they meet and kind of round table.
Like,
how are you doing with Birchmore?
Financial unit, like a physical unit, like a communications unit.
Not necessarily just that. I mean, like, who's on Birchmore? Who's looking into this or that with Morrissey, or who's looking at this or that on the Karen Reed case? They've got little divisions, little fiefdoms that are looking at parts of the puzzle, and then they commune and compare. Show me what you've got. I'll show you what I've got. And it's that brain trust where they kind of shake things out. Think of, like, you ever have kids playing at the ocean and they've got the sifter and they put it in the sand and they shake it, and then left are the shells. So there's a communal meeting where the shells are all compared to each other. And once the FBI is ready to act, that's when they act, which is why when the FBI gets involved with my clients, I get a little afraid, because if the FBI is being vocal as to one of my clients, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
They've done their due diligence. Doesn't mean they're always right, but they've passed the smell test by that point.
Yeah.
So that's when I have long, hard discussions with my clients about, what are you not telling me?
Right.
Or
What's
tell
going
me
on here?
everything right now.
Mhm.
And I can't tell you how many clients will at the last minute tell me, by the way, I didn't tell you this. I've been keeping it to myself because I'm embarrassed or X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
So it's a long process. And I think in this community and in society, with the McDonaldization of information, with this chronic and in some instances unhealthy desire to have swift resolution and answers on things or gratification online, by, for example, like causing drama online. I think people are so used to getting resolutions at the drop of a hat that they're not understanding the longer methodical process of the feds.
It's funny. I saw something yesterday, Nan, and it was, I think Farwell has like 7 days or something. There's a time when the feds are going to determine whether or not they're going to seek the death penalty against him for that. Now, think about that. I mean, just the fact. I mean, when I heard that, I was on the phone, and my first thing was, good, take care of him, because you can't fix that out of a person if they're gonna do that to a human. Like, if he did that knowingly to a pregnant person, you can't, like, that you can't go to therapy and fix it. So just spend the 5 cents, send the bullet downrange, done. Who's next? And set the example. Who wants to be next? Because he's
Yeah.
first. He's absolutely first. I mean, because only you can't fix that except with that measure. Like he's not, therapy's not fixing that.
So I don't know where you fall on the DP.
Right.
And I know where I fall, which I don't know if it's worth even discussing, because I know that's a polarizing subject matter.
He destroyed massive amounts of trust that is just goes across the board. He impacted thousands of people's lives.
Yeah,
Unborn baby.
if
Done deal.
I can express my opinion, and I hope I don't offend you or your audience or your future.
Listen, I very much appreciate your opinion. and here's the thing, that people, just so you guys know, whatever Nan says, not going to change how I feel about her, because she's allowed to have a different opinion, even if it's completely against mine. And
Right.
regardless of what you say, Nan, I'm still going to be your friend. Imagine that.
I love you, Tommy. I love
Like,
that. And
that's
and
adulting, people.
and my opinion may or may not be that reflective of the channel. But with that said, I think that Matthew Farwell should get the death penalty.
Yeah.
If he's eligible for it, then he should get it. Not only because of the atrocious, what appears to be, I understand we're innocent until proven guilty, but there sure appears to be a sufficient amount of evidence in my mind. I mean, I could never be a juror, not only jurisdictionally, but I'm biased. But in my mind, I think he did it. Just like I think, as an aside, Brian Walsh murdered Anna Walsh. And I feel that in Birchmore's situation, you have the death of a fetus. That is a aggravating factor.
Absolutely.
There's a whole slew of categories that the court would go through to determine if he is DP eligible. And honestly, if just on a personal level, I think he's a piece of shit, because even if he didn't do it, okay. And again, I'm still a proponent of innocent till proven guilty.
Yep.
Even if he didn't do it, he's still a piece of shit based on how he treated Sandra, because I've seen or heard enough about the text messaging. I've learned enough from different resources and media sources to know that he completely took advantage of her at all different turns of the corners. He's he's a predator.
Yep.
I feel sorry for his children and his wife.
This this
But
was not an accident. This wasn't I missed the stop sign and I crashed into somebody. This is not that. This is the bigger picture. And he earned this when she was 12 years old or 13 when he first met her. He knew then what was going to happen. So he earned this at least looking into it. Let's make a determination one way or the other. He earned that.
he earned that, and I don't know what's going on with the others involved, like Robert Devine.
Yeah, the Abington cop that
The other Farwell, whose name is escaping me, Matthew Farwell and Robert Farwell, whatever his brother. Somebody help me. The brother, who's also a piece of shit. So
Yep.
is Devine. The people, and it goes back to what I was saying before. The people who knew that was going on with the Explorers program, it wasn't just them. It wasn't just them who knew. And that chief, who's a female, whose name I can't think of,
Yeah, I know.
not Rafferty, but another female.
The Stoughton chief. That's right.
Okay. I saw her interviewed on, was it Dateline? But anyway, I am going back. It aired maybe 3 weeks ago. With that said, she was portraying, thank you, William Farwell was the other name.
Thank you.
That chief
Yep.
made it seem like, okay, well, once I found out, I had to do something, and I did something, and we looked into this. Bullshit. I'm sorry. Right?
Time out. She didn't just find out. If she's a
Right.
police officer, she has an investigatory nature of herself, especially if she's moved up the ranks. There's no way she didn't know that girl and that guy had something going on. They all knew it. And that's
They
my
all knew.
problem.
Well,
Again, complicit. They don't say
yeah,
nothing.
it's complicit, and doesn't it make, in the Karen Reed's case, the
Mhm.
words of AJ, look the other way, more poetic? Okay, this whole intentional ignorance to what is right before your eyes, and it ties into that other theme I was just talking about a short while ago, which is people are afraid to speak up. These are people who are trained, paid by taxpayer dollars,
Yep.
certified to protect and serve, but yet are not brave enough to speak up when they see that there is a small, I think it's small, underbelly, a dark underbelly to their own populace of law enforcement. Not all cops are bad. I don't feel that way. Nonetheless, I'm still not taking my cars up to Massachusetts because I don't want them reading my license plates.
Yep.
So when I go, it's under dark cover of night. But with that said, there is just a group of individuals up there, many law enforcement, but not the vast majority, who are just a bunch of, how do I keep this G-rated? Cowards. They won't speak up because they're afraid.
Yep.
And those are the people who are supposed to protect and serve you. I'm sorry. Did you want to show me something?
No, just his brother's a counselor in Brockton. He's on the city
Who?
council. Farwell.
William is
Yes.
he's oh my God. Wait, a counselor?
I'm gonna show you. City of Brockton.
Where am
Candidate.
I?
Brockton City
Oh, a
Council.
councilman.
At-large
Councilman.
Candidate.
What is, hold on. Keep that up.
Yeah.
Keep that up. I am still blind as a bat. What is the date of September something? Okay.
September 10th.
September 10th.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about the pivoting that goes on in terms of can we just talk for a moment about the amount of law enforcement who end up, quote, early retiring to avoid consequences? I mean, I can only think, know it's happened several times where, officers change their position and or retire to avoid investigations. Okay.
They-
It's
They go to a different department, so the selectmen
right.
in that town don't have to deal with it. They ship them off.
Right. And I know, I think I saw it fly by in your chat. Someone had said, like, this is like the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the Catholic Church scandal, where all of a sudden it's like we're hiding the problem instead of addressing it. And I forget who I was talking to in the last month about how this wouldn't happen in my area of law. I'm a healthcare lawyer. I do criminal work and administrative and civil, but involving doctors cannot move they cannot leave their place of employment, leave a hospital, back out of a working arrangement to avoid an investigation. If they do, that is reportable to a federal database that is
Right.
monitored by the federal government. It's illegal. In addition to that, in my particular state, and by the way, that happens everywhere. A doctor cannot, retire early to avoid an investigation. In my particular state, we have an added layer, which is very interesting for your audience if you wanted to watch any of the documentaries on it. But we have something called the Cullen Law in New Jersey, which stems from Charles Cullen. I don't know if anyone has seen the documentaries on Charles Cullen. I know there had been one or two on Prime, Amazon Prime or Netflix. He was the nurse in the Somerset County area of New Jersey who was killing patients.
Yeah, Mercy, right? The Mercy killing patients, right? The nurse.
Not just Mercy, he was murdering them, and not all of them were death ready. They were not ready to expire.
Right.
To Carrie B, who was in your chat, but the point is he was murdering. Oh, I'm sorry, I said the wrong YouTube word.
Oopsies.
He was emming patients.
Yep.
And what was happening was, and this happened, I think, in the 90s or the 80s.
It was,
There's some really, really interesting documentaries out there on him. But we have the Cullen Law in New Jersey, and I promise there's a point here. What was happening with Charles Cullen is that he would do what he was doing, which many times involved injecting insulin into patients,
needles,
and it was causing some, I don't even know, all of the different health results, and they were expiring. But what was unaliving, thanks, Andrea. But what was happening is the hospitals, it would take them, and I understand this, but it was taking them a little bit of time to realize what was happening, because there would be a rapid amount or an appreciable amount of patients who would expire.
Right.
And once they were kind of connecting the dots and realizing, oh, okay, these patients were expiring during his shifts.
Right.
And they started to say, oh, okay, it's starting to look like Charles Cullen. They would get him to leave, or he would quit on his own. And the hospitals would never want to admit it. They would never want to say, we've discovered that the cause of the expirations were happening at our hospital, because they will lose money. They will lose federal.
Out.
People will stop going to that hospital out of fear.
Oh, yeah.
They will lose federal funding. It's this whole cycle.
Yes.
The reason I bring it up is the hospitals, in avoiding the true consequences that should have happened, which was to absolutely out the guy and say he is a bad actor, he is a risk to patients.
Yes.
They chose reputation. The hospital chose money. They chose their bottom line. They chose to stay in the black instead of being in the red.
Yep.
And that is fear. That is cowardice. The Cullen Law was a complete reaction to that in New Jersey. And that is where we have an added layer of reporting that has to happen when some bad actor, like a doctor or a nurse or any licensed healthcare professional, but you could replace those terms with like law enforcement, and that's the point I'm trying to get at.
So if you go to a hospital,
you report them to all the agencies.
But if you go to the emergency room for whatever reason, having a bad day, but you have to go to the emergency room, The nurse who's taking care of you, whose tasks, whose job, whose reason is there, he's there because you're sick. He's got
Right.
to fix you, but he murders you instead. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
He
sorry.
he gives stuff that you're allergic to that's not good for your body, and you now. That's
Yeah.
the same as the police department.
It is. And that's why
in the
it's
trust and that layer of protecting. You're supposed to protect the sick, protect the meek, protect the young. You don't do anything to affect them in a negative way. This is bad. And it's not just the nurses, because the other nurses knew, right? The other nurses on the shifts knew something was fishy, right? They had to.
yeah. They had to. I don't think they knew right away.
Right. No, but
It
still.
takes time to connect dots
Yeah.
and to dispel disbelief. Like there's no one on this end saying everyone should have known right away that it was this person doing
No,
this
it takes a
horrible thing to
while, right?
Sandra.
'Cause some people, I'm sure some people were sick.
Mhm.
Like you're there because you're sick, but instead of helping you, they hurt you. That layer of trust that you trust, you go into ER, you trust that you're gonna get the best. You trust that they're gonna fix you.
Yes, and now a couple points. One, if anyone, I'm already seeing, I'm getting some messages on which is the best documentary on Charles Cullen. There's actually, I don't know which is the best documentary, but the movie, there's like a made for
I think I
streaming
remember
movie.
that.
There's I can't remember the name of it, but it's with Jessica Chastain, the redheaded, beautiful actress, and I can't think of the man who plays Charles Cullen. But if you look up like Charles Cullen, Jessica Chastain, that's a great movie about it. The other thing I was going to say is, as far as this subject matter, this is kind of inspiring me to, I might write a piece on this about if law enforcement, and frankly the Catholic Church, but if law enforcement nationally would take more of an approach that doctors that are imposed by doctors, because
And why
you're
don't
right,
they? Yeah,
it's the
I mean,
same
that
standard:
bang.
protect, serve,
Yes.
care for. And if law enforcement isn't going to do that, if they're going to trample on a defendant's or a suspect's rights, if they're going to immediately rush to judgment, if you're going to have the proctors of the world looking at quote nudes
Right.
and making horrible comments in text messages to buddies within
that-
less than 24 hours of the incident itself.
Yep.
If you're going to have people like Proctor, and it's not just Proctor, but he's on my mind today.
All
God
the
help
people
me.
around him are just as guilty.
Correct. And it's this conspiratorial network, and honestly, it's all fear and covering your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you afraid of speaking up? Are you afraid of losing your pension? Are you afraid of not being reelected, Mr. Morrissey? Are you afraid that if you push against the blue-eyed monster, that it might set its eyes on you?
Bingo.
Maybe.
Yep.
But then you know what? If you're that afraid, then you shouldn't be in law enforcement. You shouldn't be. I don't expect all law enforcement not to have fear. But if law enforcement is going to choose the brotherhood over the well-being of the community that
What's right and wrong.
they have sworn to protect and serve, then I want them out. And maybe that's why I don't let this bone down. I guess I'm a dog with a bone. And I'm also very talkative this afternoon, more so than normal. Usually it's very talkative. Now it's excessively so.
I absolutely agree with that. And
Yeah.
that nurse is, I mean,
Charles Cullen.
what a horrible thing, right? I mean, just that, again, that layer of trust that we really expect from the people we're paying for, right? And
Yeah.
but
And interestingly, in that movie with Jessica Chastain, when she was a fellow nurse in this movie, okay, it's a true story. When she came, he was her friend. Charles Cullen was her, I don't remember her real name in the in real life, but Charles Cullen was her friend, her counterpart. And when she realized that her friend
Mm-hmm.
who was there for her personally in her personal life and professionally, that her friend was capable of this. She went through a very natural evolution of, what do I do? Could it really be him? Could he be doing this?
Right.
How do I speak up? What if I don't speak up? What if I do speak up? I need to protect myself. That's why it's a great example for your audience, if it interests you,
Mm-hmm.
of seeing, like, ultimately she does the right thing, which is she did engage with law enforcement, which, by the way, coincidentally, was already looking at this, just like the feds we were talking about are already looking at this. And she got connected with them and started building a case or gathering evidence for the investigators to ultimately take this guy out. And it was hard for her. I don't expect it to be
personal,
easy.
right? Because she was friends with
Personal.
him, and you work with him every day. You knew this person, yeah.
Yes, and they had a personal friendship. He was there for her. She had health issues. She had custodial issues with her
Yeah.
children. Okay, he was there for her
Well, he
personally.
gained again, not just as a stranger, but as a personal. He broke that trust also.
Correct. Because
Whoa,
you know, I look at people for who they are and I say, if this person could do that
right.
to someone they don't know, like, what are they going to do to me if they
Yep.
do know? Like, the more I think about that story of Charles Cullen, I think there's so many parallels, and I think I'm gonna rewatch some of the documentaries on it. And to bring it all full circle, the hospital in which he did, and he was at various hospitals
They
in New
bumped him
Jersey.
around.
They hid him like Osama bin Laden.
Whoa.
But the primary, I think it was his first, might have been his second, but the primary hospital where he did this is now my client. They've been my client now for 5 years.
Whoa, there you go.
But I didn't realize it because it changed its name.
Well, you had
And
to. How
I
can you
understand
not,
why they
right?
changed
Yeah,
their
like
name.
hello.
You know?
Listen, real quick, I have one more question.
Yeah.
You still looking to move up here with your business?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
There are
thing.
plans in motion.
Good deal.
But
Welcome.
to anyone watching, or who wants to loop this, Tommy, or to make a meme out of it, or to make a
Oh.
joke out of it, whether you are watching in the chat, watching on X, or watching as any content creator, possibly, I do not want to be the district attorney for Norfolk County or any other county.
No.
It was a joke.
We're going for governor.
I don't expect
Fuck
the
you, Abe. Go right to
close-minded.
governor. Right to the governor. We got a female
Uh,
governor already, so it's all right.
Let me tell you
Go with that.
something. When you work as hard as I do and
God.
you get as good at it as I am, I don't want to work for the Commonwealth.
No, you don't want to work.
I want to work for me.
Yep. No, I get
Yeah.
it. You can't work for. Once you do that, you can't go anywhere else. I get that part.
So do me a favor before I go.
Yes, dear.
Tell Mikey I miss him. I love him. And I'm gonna call him. I'll give him a few days so he feels better. But I love you both,
will.
and you have my undying loyalty. And
Oh.
only a few people get that. And when you don't get my loyalty, I'd hate to be on the other end of people who get my wrath.
Yeah, we don't want that. And again,
happens.
we love you. And if you need anything, you know how to get in touch with us.
Yes,
we're
do.
all fans of you, Nan. And
Oh,
again, we're fans of you doing doing what we can.
Yeah.
We're all
Thank
rooting
you.
for you. So
Thank you. And before I forget, Monday night, I will be at
Nacho.
JJ Grimsby's in
Yep.
Stoneham for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. That's their nacho night. Shout out to my nachos. Also, I've been asked Sunday night. I'm
The
going to
thing with
be
the
doing a
big thing.
fundraiser
Yep.
with Mazza at
Yeah.
5:00, and then next Friday, I will be at the JFK James Jackson Kevy Kev live event with Mike Crawford. That event is not designed to in any way compete with Aiden's
No.
Halloween party. That was picked on a date as an accommodation to me. It's not a Halloween party. It was picked in August to accommodate my schedule, but I will be going to that.
So if
And
people wanted to go and get pictures with you, they could go there and get pictures with you.
they could. I don't know why
Okay.
anyone would want a picture
Come on
with
now.
me.
Come on, the line's out the door waiting to get pictures for you.
Oh, we'll
So
see. But to anyone who wants to get too close for a picture, just
there
be
you go.
careful. My bite is worse than my bark.
Nan, we love you,
Bye,
my
guys.
dear. If you need anything, please call us. And it's good. Thank
I
you for
will.
spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you soon,
Absolutely.
Tommy.
Bye, Nan.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So there you go. There's hope some information for you guys to maybe make you a little smarter than we were before we started. Best I can do. That's all I can do, right? What a great person she is. She really is. Yeah. And with that said, I love you all. I am asking you all to just let that noise just die away. Let it go. Because it ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth your time. Say a prayer for Mikey. You know, say a prayer for the other people that are struggling. You know? Yeah. You guys are freaking wonderful. I love you guys. I was gonna go launch rockets tomorrow, so I'm not sure if you guys want to go and launch some rockets with me tomorrow. I got a few. It's kind of like a nerd thing, so I don't know if it's even worth even streaming it for you guys. So, but that was my plan for tomorrow in the morning, real early, big field. And yeah, I can actually let me show you real quick what I'm talking about, so you guys know. I have one, and I have a camera that I can put on it. Let's see. All right, this guy here. Let me share the screen real quick. Check this out real quick. 4, that's
3, 2, 1. Take it. Nuts.
So this is this is called electronics bag. Controls the rocket when it's up in the air. Controls the parachute when it comes out at the top. This is the software we use to find the center of gravity and the center of pressure. You can design it all. It tells you exactly how much everything weighs, how thick this has to be, stuff like that. Then you go to the launch pad and you have to let the FAA know so they can close down the airspace around you. Let's see what this is. Yeah. So this is when they put it on the rail. Oh yeah. Oh boy, he's got Kate on it. You'll like this one. So then you take it and you slide it down this piece of metal. You guys see this metal track here? It's just a channel. So you have a little thing and zips up. And then we go. All right. He's got Kate. Kate is a device that speaks to you when you launch the rocket. Let's see if you can hear it. See ya. And that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. I'm going to do something. I don't know what, but I'm having to tell.
30.
Mary, we're coming back.
35.
We'll see. See what's time.
Sustainer ignition. Yeah! Let's go. Squirrely. 50.
I was just falling right on you. We were in a whole dominoes pile. Or is it the wind? Something happened.
Walk out.
All right. Go. All right. Two 2,760 miles an hour. 2,700 miles an hour. Can you imagine that? 27. This is 24:30 now. But yeah, that's what I plan on doing tomorrow. I have a bunch of rockets. Some are ready to go. So, with that said, I love all you guys. You guys are absolutely great. I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you. Oh, let me do the donations. My God, you guys. Jess, my girl Jess, I have an idea for our 24-hour standout this year. Whether you do it, I'm doing it. I'm going to do a 24-hour standout for John O'Keefe until he gets justice. So we just got to figure out where we're going to do this 24-hour standout like we did last year. Last year we did it on the front lawn of the Canton Police Department. The year before that, I was asked not to do something. And the year before that, I went to John's grave and I put down flowers and I put down candles. It was said some prayers, was very respectful. It was very nice. But this year we're gonna do something different. Nancy S. Wow. Thank you so very much. New Hampshire dude. Nan speaks the truth. Full stop. $10. Thank you very much. And Pro Gamer member. 7 months. Love Nan's explanations. Couldn't believe this level of sympathetic corruption and injustice really existed in mass during 7 years of university. Oh, so you were here from them times. It was a little different back then. I think now it's like it's the pinnacle of how bad it really is. It's not good, people. But either way. All right. Love you all. You all have a wonderful day. Yes, Gail. Because I know you'll be here too. Because we all support John O'Keefe. Nothing ever changed that. Yep. Whatever it takes, we'll get the word out there. He ain't forgotten. That boy is not going to be forgotten. I'm not going to let it. And I don't think his brother's got the balls to do it. His brother's too busy drinking. Don't care. Don't freaking care. I'm doing it. So the answer is no. Me. I. Me. I. I'm still doing it. If you know what, if you know, you know. All right, everybody. I love you all, some more than others, obviously. You know that. And I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. What's the weather this weekend? Anybody know? Let me check the weather real quick. The weather. Okay. Tomorrow, 63. Sunday, 68. Monday, rain. Nice. All righty. Donna Rash. Jesus, Donna, thank you so much. Wow. Donna Rash paid $25. Donna, thank you so much. My goodness. Definitely. Absolutely. Definitely. Yep. I just got a text from my friend. Yeah. I'm glad he responded to me today. I was worried about him yesterday. Glad everything worked out. I'm glad you're back home. So nice. I don't want that. Yeah. Mikey, I love you, my friend Mikey. And not a big deal. I want you to get better. We all love you very much, my friend. We just need you to get better. Everything, whatever you need, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help out. And I think my friend Miss Glock, Carrie Lynn, I'm sorry, Carrie, I think she sent something. She said she did. Either way, I'm not worried about it. But you guys are just awesome. You really are. I don't know how to say thank you to everybody. Yeah. All right. You all have an absolutely super duper wonderful weekend, and I love you all. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.
Cold mornings, cracked pavement, courthouse steps. He's there before sunrise while the world still rests. No cameras needed, no spotlight glare. Just a man with a purpose, always standing there. Facing the crowd, but the fight in his veins. Truth in his hands, pushing through the rain. Karen sees him, she knows what it means when you've got boots on the ground and you fight for your dreams. Boots on the ground, day after day, standing for truth in the hardest way. No fame, no glory, just a promise kept. Tom CPU, you never left. He don't ask for credit, don't ask for praise. Just fighting the good fight in 1,000 ways. When the cameras fade and the voices die, he's still right there, never asking why. He's got a handshake that you can trust, eyes that don't blink when it comes to us. Karen smiles because she knows it's true. She's got a soldier and his name's CPU. Boots on the ground, day after day, standing for truth in the hardest way. No fame, no hoarding, just a promise kept. Tom CPU, you never left. When the courthouse is empty and the crowd's gone home, Tom's still walking, he's never alone. 1,000 steps, a million prayers, because justice don't sleep and neither does he care.